Okay, the fluids have been checked. We're in the car. Have the keys in the ignition. It's time to fire this podcast up. Well, it's that time again. As the Cordova fires up, it's time to do episode number 8. And we're going to be starting by uniting all generations and types of Mopar fans, lovers, and enthusiasts everywhere, from Walter P. Chrysler to today's Mopar and beyond. This is, like I said, episode number 8, and you're listening to the WaltPar Podcast. Hello and welcome. I'm your host, Scott Gresser, Mopar since 1960. Always grateful to have you here. Take nothing for granted for my older age. So glad you're here that you can join me here on the WaltPar Podcast. My email, waltparpodcast@aol.com. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, X, and Threads. Search WaltPar Podcast. And now, I am currently working on having my podcasts available on YouTube and Rumble. I am caught up with the YouTube so far. I'll have to do this one later that I'm doing. And I have 5 more to put on Rumble. Now, please search WaltPar for YouTube and Rumble when you look for mine, if you want to listen to that and you don't want to go through the podcasts, through the podcast providers. I did find out I can be heard on Podbean now, and I'm still on Spotify, iHeart, Podcast Addict, Spreaker, Pocket Cast, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. Thank you all so much. Now, I'm recording this on the night. It's almost 9 o'clock on Tuesday night, April 9th, 2024. In Ohio, where I was at, I was in a great area to see the eclipse. It was fantastic. Even the moment, not just the eclipse itself. It was the moment before. It was great because I was running parts. I was on the road, and as you knew it was getting closer, I listened to Andre Bernier's Weather Jazz podcast. He gave us all this great information coming up to the day of the eclipse. And he was saying it'd be around 3:08, and it was spot on. So about 2:45, I was noticing the moon was coming up in front of the sun from the lower right. As you looked at the sun, I looked through those glasses. And as I kept going home on State Route 83 or back to Worcester from a small town called Burbank, I was taking that down the road, and the skies, it was not eerie at all. It was really cool. It was a shade of gray, a really weird shade of gray, as the time was getting closer when the eclipse was going to be put together. And the shadows from the trees that were along the road, I've never seen those before like that. It was just really something else just to drive down the road, headlights on, of course, and I went to pick up my wife at work and took her back to the house, and then that's when the total darkness hit, and it blew my mind. It was just that great. And in the moments afterwards, as it was trying to rebuild back the sunlight that the moon blocked, and the gray sky was coming back again, and now we're back to blue skies, even with the clouds or whatever, it's blue up above, but it was gray before, and it was just, the whole experience was great, and it was something that I will never forget. And I hope you had a good time watching the eclipse wherever you are. And we had pretty high percentage of totality is what they call it, where you get the full effect. And so it was very good. My wife, Angie, loved it. People off work, when I was driving up, there's this soccer field that the kids play on. That was not packed with people, but there was a group of people there. Traffic was not bad at all. There was no traffic jams, nobody off the side of the road or anything. I'm driving up the state route to 83 to Burbank. I'm seeing all these people. They got their lawn chairs out in front of their garage doors, and it was just a great moment. People were friendly. People were looking forward to it. People were happy. It was a great experience, even just for that. And I'm so glad I got to be a part of it, even though I didn't do anything with really anybody, but people, wherever they worked at, they were outside their buildings looking at it. There were other businesses that were closed. Schools were closed. That was understandable because if I was a kid, I wouldn't want to do anything in school. I wanted to make sure and watch the eclipse and see what was coming. And they didn't know what the traffic was going to be, so it was a great idea that the schools were closed that day so the kids can really go out and enjoy and have the freedom to watch the eclipse on their own if they wanted. And it was just a great day. So glad I was a part of that, and I hope you were too. Now, this coming Saturday, April 13th, Angie and I will be at the Mopar Spring Dust-Off for 2024. Now, this has been going on for 10 years now. It started off in Mansfield because it was supposed to be a split between All Modern Mopars of Ohio and Columbus and Northeast Ohio Mopar, which was based in the Cleveland area. And they were to meet at the midway point, which was Mansfield, Ohio. But parking spaces were getting limited, and people are having a hard time volunteering for anything anyways, because we have so much we have to do now, that Anthony Carter took it over from Ammo, and he will be our feature today on the WaltPar Podcast. But Anthony has put it together the last 2 years. He's from Columbus. He puts it in Columbus, which is fine, and it's great because he has it at the Quaker Steak and Lube parking lot at Polaris Parkway, and it's a huge parking lot. It's made for cruise-ins like that because of the auto atmosphere that Quaker Steak and Lube offers. And so that's where it will be. I will be there, and I hope to see you there. Now, I'll be joining the ride down. I'll be getting from Worcester, and I'll be heading down to Interstate 71 at exit 165. That's still north of Columbus. At Interstate 71, where I'll be joining the great people from the Ohio Mopar Group, and then we'll be riding down together to the meet, which we will probably leave between 8 and 8:15 a.m., maybe a couple minutes later, but we'll all be going down as a group, and then we'll just head to Polaris from there and join the show. I will be doing interviews with people. I want to, you see these polls, what people think of the electric cars, what they think of the new Charger. I'm going to get some personal opinions on this as I go along. There'll be a lot more Modern Mopars there, but this is an all Mopar event, and Anthony really wanted to stress, bring your old Mopars, your classic muscle. If it's a Chrysler product, bring it, please. They want it there, want it for a great variety, and just get the cars out from sitting all winter and head on down. I'm going to be taking my 2014 Deep Cherry Red Town & Country S. I've got it all shined up. I got it partially packed. And what I'm going to be doing is I'll be taking it down because although we had a pretty good rain earlier today, I am still not convinced there's enough salt off the road and with what I call low-tech metal, because the newer metal, like from the 80s up, is galvanized and has really stopped a lot of rust compared to the older cars. So Cordova can sit. It always patiently waits, fires up every time for me. I'm very grateful for that. So I'm going to be taking, last year I took my 2006 Town & Country, 332,000 miles on it back then. And I wanted to show everybody because it was at a time right after the announcement that they were not going to make the Hemis anymore. And they're going to a new generation car with the Hurricane 6 cylinders and electric. So I took it down there. I wanted to show people 332,000 miles. If you love that car, you should be able to keep it a very long time if you want. And that's why I took it down. This time around, I'm going to be taking the red Caravan, the red Town & Country down. So hope to see you there April 13th at Quaker Steak and Lube at Polaris Plaza in Columbus, Ohio. It's on the far north end of Columbus, Ohio. So with that in mind, how about we get caught up on the latest Stellantis news regarding the Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram brands worldwide. Excuse me. The LB Body New Generation Charger gets its first award. Robert S. Miller of Mopar Insiders reports not only did the next generation Charger win the 2024 Kelley Blue Book Consumer Choice Award, so did the 2025 Ram 1500. Robert S. Miller of Mopar Insiders reports Stellantis has received a patent on a new electric vehicle transmission called Erupt. Now, Erupt is a system that is aimed at replacing the shift feel of an internal combustion engine transmission. And what they're trying to do with this is they're trying to bridge the gap between people who love the gas and people who love electric and giving it a feel and just try to bridge that gap as they're trying to do right now as we go towards electrification. And I hope that does not happen for a long. We could use them. I just don't think we should go totally electric. Now, a recall of 223 Pacifica and Voyager minivans that were built between December 23rd, 2023 and January 4th, 2024 has been issued. David Zatz of Stellpower and Robert S. Miller Mopar Insiders report the windshield may detach if the vehicle is involved in a collision. So have your VIN ready and check with your dealership to see if you have an eligible vehicle. Now, I forgot to tell you that it was Robert S. Miller of Mopar Insiders reported on the Erupt transmission. You have to give credit where credit is due. How many times have we all seen and heard how Dodges just, the price markup was total gouging. They just added so much to the bill. Well, Patrick Rawl the Beard of Stellpower read a report from iSeeCars.com. It's ISEE Cars.com. And what it did was iSeeCars.com rated what vehicles that were sold between January 2023 to January 2024 that had the highest markup. They did it by a percentage of what the retail price was to what they were getting for it. So it was that percentage is what they were after. Of all the cars they found listed, Dodge came in 22nd on the list. That means 21 more cars ahead of Dodge had a higher markup percentage average than Dodge did. Now, you can read his full report at stellpower.com. Now, Patrick included the list of the top 20 vehicles that have the highest markups, and he also included the top 15 of the most discounted vehicles. And you will not believe, I'm not going to read any of the vehicles. I want you to read it to support Patrick. But you would not believe some of those vehicles that have ultra high markups. It will just blow your mind. But just keep that in mind. So, Carlos Tavares, CEO of Stellantis, recently held a Freedom of Mobility Forum in Italy. Two of the biggest points he made is there will be no way electric vehicles will be able to be used in certain parts of the world due to both economics and infrastructure. And the second thing he brought up a lot of others, but the top two was this one and the second one, which is the weight of the batteries in each vehicle. He feels that the batteries must be reduced in weight by half over the next decade. That would help increase range and weight of the car, tire wear, and everything else. So he says, let's get the weight of the batteries down at least by 50% over the next decade. Now, those are just the highlights. Now, you can find out more if you want to know more of what was brought up. Autoblog.com has an article they pulled from Reuters, and Robert S. Miller, MoparInsiders.com, has another article as well. I still see lots of Jeep Gladiators hanging around, driving the streets, but apparently in some areas they're not selling too well because Jeep Gladiators are now discounted between 13 to 15%. David Zatz of Stellpower reports slowing sales and higher than normal dealer inventories are some of the reasons. Speaking of Gladiators, on April 8th, that's right, the day of the eclipse, Brian Hurd of Autoblog, David Zatz of Stellpower, and Robert S. Miller of Mopar Insiders report that Jeep has announced a Nighthawk Edition sales package for the Jeep Gladiator. It will be powered by the 3.6 Pentastar V6, have Dana 44 axles, rock rails, and other items. Now, there will only be 2,000 of these be built, and they will be available in the United States and Canada. The first quarter 2024 sales figures are now out. David Zatz of Stellpower and Robert S. Miller of Mopar Insiders reports Stellantis as a whole sold 332,540 vehicles, which is a 10% decline from the same period last year. Chrysler, Jeep, and Fiat saw sales increases, while Dodge, Ram, and Alfa Romeo saw sales decreases. On the brighter side, Jeep sold over 14,000 more Wranglers than Ford did Broncos. Meanwhile, up in the Great White North in Canada, Robert S. Miller of Mopar Insiders reports Stellantis Canada sales were 20% lower in the first quarter of 2024 compared to the first quarter in 2023. Now, in a comparison in the U.S., that 332,540 vehicles sold in the first quarter of 2024 was a 10% decline from the same period last year. And finally, on the sales figures, David Zatzel Stellpower also reported that Stellantis in Europe, they did a great job selling vehicles. Commercial vehicles were pretty good, but he had no individual brand figures to report. Now, to help boost sales of the Dodge Hornet, which you've heard me say in past episodes of the news, that it's one of the least selling vehicles out there, Robert S. Miller, Mopar Insiders, and David Zatzel Stellpower reports a new ad campaign is coming for the Hornet. It's called the Inner Child Intervention, which will be coming out, and it will be for the Hornet RT PHEV. Tuscadero Pink, the color that's named after the character Pinky Tuscadero, played by Roz Kelly on the TV show Happy Days, is back. The color, that is. Byron Hurt of Autoblog, David Zatzel Stellpower, Robert S. Miller, Mopar Insiders report the color first came out in 2021 and will return to the entire Wrangler lineup for 2024. Now, a black hardtop will be initially available, but a matching color hardtop will be coming later, as well as a black soft top. If you want the color, it will add $895 to the sticker price for a U.S. Jeep and $695 for a Canadian Jeep. And I looked up the other day because Roz Kelly, I always thought she was attractive. She probably still is, but she's now 80 years old. And so, Happy Days first started in 1973. That's when they start. No, the spring of 74, and it was on Tuesday nights at 8 on ABC. And so Pinky was one of the girlfriends that Fonz had, and she was Roz Kelly, and a very attractive woman, and she did a great job playing that part. Also saw her guest star on my other great television show I love called Kojak. One more year. That's right. Robert S. Miller of Mopar Insiders reports one more year of the current generation WD body Durango will be around for the 2025 model year and will be available with the 5.7 and Hellcat Hemi power. Law enforcement variants will also continue during the production run. Now, towards the end of the 2025 model year, a 6.4-liter Hemi SRT Last Call Edition will be made. A 2025 Brazilian Jeep Compass will be getting an overhaul of its engine availability. Robert S. Miller, Mopar Insiders reports gasoline, ethanol, diesel, and PHE powertrains will be offered. Now, if you want details on what they are, go to moparinsiders.com and you can find out more with what Robert wrote and what engines will be put in the Brazilian Jeep Compass. Remember back in episode 4 of the WaltPar Podcast when Patrick Rawl, the Beard of Stellpower, reported about the Challenger Demon SRT 170 that was special ordered by an active duty serviceman. It was ordered for him and then it was sold out from underneath him at the dealership. They sold it to someone else. Well, Robert S. Miller of Mopar Insiders reports the dealership that did that got the car back and will have it auctioned off for charity at the Mecum auction that was just held last weekend in Houston, Texas, USA. It was done on Saturday, April 6th. Now, the proceeds will go to Chapter 79 of the Special Forces Association, the 5th Squad in Pearl, Mississippi, and Jared Allen's Homes for Wounded Warriors in Scottsdale, Arizona. Now, the results are in, and Robert S. Miller of Mopar Insiders reports the car went for $167,750. Robert S. Miller Mopar Insiders reports the 2025 Ram 1500 trucks are now starting to show up at the dealerships. So keep your eye out. Robert S. Miller Mopar Insiders reports the Jeep brand was the 8th best-selling brand in Italy for the month of March 2024. David Zatz of Stellpower in his weekly All Makes Recall report on stellpower.com found 2 from Stellantis. The first one involves 12,221 KL body Cherokees for a turn signal that won't automatically cancel once the turn has been made. That means when you turn the steering wheel and the turn signal lever goes up and knocks off. It's having problems doing that. That's what the recall is for. The second recall involves 26,776 Pacifica and Voyager minivans, and what they are there for is to require a software update to make sure the traction control will work properly while the cruise control is on. And Robert S. Miller, Mopar Insiders, also reported on this recall and has more details on it, chronological order, and everything else. And as always, please have your VIN handy and check with your dealership to see if you have an eligible vehicle. Well, that's it for the news this time on episode 8 of the WaltPar Podcast. You can find the full links to all these stories if you want to read more about them, and more stories as well on autoblog.com, moparinsiders.com, and stellpower.com. Coming up next, we are doing an interview with Anthony Carter, founder of Central Ohio LX and Ammo. He will go through the history of the clubs of the Modern Mopars in Columbus. I call him Modern Mopar Muscle's biggest ambassador. I have him on the show today. I did this clear back at Christmas time. I was going to do it in January, but here it is. It's April. It's actually perfect because it's a few days before the dust-off in Columbus, which he helped spearhead and keep going. And we did this at Quaker Steak and Lube in Polaris, where we're going to have this event. And so that's why you'll hear a lot of background noise. But trust me, it's a great interview. Anthony's a great person. He's my go-to guy for social media. If I have any questions, regardless, he's a huge tech guy. And like I said, he's just an all-around great guy. And I thank him so much for the interview. And here is Anthony right now as we start this interview. Okay, I'm here today on the Car Club Spotlight, with Anthony Carter. He is the founder of the LX and Beyond Nationals. He is also the founder of all Modern Mopars of Ohio. But there's a lot of history that goes before that. He's a very influential member of the Mopar community here in Columbus, Ohio. And we're grateful to have him here on the WaltPar Podcast today. Good afternoon, Anthony. How are you?
Good afternoon, Scott. Thanks for having me out today. Doing well. Definitely happy to...
We're getting our food.
There we go. Definitely happy to be with you today.
Yes, and we want to let you know we are here at Quaker Steak and Lube in the Polaris Parkway in Columbus, Ohio. This is the home to the annual Mario Knapp Car Cruise-In, which is held in late September, early October. It's a huge show. I won 2 trophies from it with the Cordoba. And also, it is, for its second year in a row, be home to the Mopar Spring. Is it the dust-off or kickoff this year?
It's the dust-off.
Back being the dust-off.
Back to being the dust-off.
Yes, Anthony's taking this over third year in a row. Third year in a row. He brought it down to Columbus last year. It's also held here at Quaker Steak and Lube in the Polaris Parkway in Columbus. And we appreciate you having for that. And when is that show again?
That show is coming up. I'm drawing a blank right now on the date, but I want to say we're in April, so I'll
It is April, I know that for sure. So, but yes, it's a great turnout, and this is not just for the modern crowd. This is for all Mopars, old and new, no matter what year, what model. We'd love to see you come to that.
Absolutely.
Yes. So, and I brought my minivan there last year just to show people there's over 330,000 reasons why, I brought it. So that gives people hope. I was hoping it would give people hope that when they keep their whatever car they have, you can have it for a really long time to come.
Absolutely.
So, all right, let's get started here. On the history of ammo, it goes back way before that, but the question I asked the Mid-Ohio Mopars is, what was going on in your mind, or maybe others, before you even thought about starting any kind of a club? What was some of the things that was perking you?
For me, I was actually at a crossroad. I had just finished with college. I was just kind of getting into the workforce and getting established with work and job and everything. And at that time, I was looking to see, what my next vehicle was. For me, I really felt like I was at a crossroad. I was actually looking at a very popular import at the time that was getting ready to be debuted actually right around the same time as the Charger. I saw that vehicle at the Columbus Auto Show, and then I also saw a Go Mango Dodge Charger in the Columbus Auto Show, and I was, like I said, at a crossroads. It's like, am I going to go import or am I going to go Mopar? And I just, I've always been a car person. I love all cars. Obviously, Mopar is my passion, but I mean, I love anything with four wheels and even some with two wheels. Definitely a big fan of automotive. So I made that decision that it's like, all right, this Go Mango Charger is really got my attention. I remember the Dukes of Hazzard. That in combination with seeing that car and going, man, this is like a modern version of that car. That was pretty much what pulled me in. I started researching it. A very popular back in 05, 06. The car forums was a thing. Long before there was activity on Facebook, we used to go on car forums, and a really popular car forum at that time was LX Forums, which now knowing today, that was pretty much the Bible for what was LX platform for the Charger, Challenger, 300, and the Magnum. And if you needed to know how to do anything, how to find anything, that was the place to go. And I formed a lot of friendships through that forum. I learned, met a lot of people. And one of the things that kind of caught my attention was there was this show going on out in Southern California, and all these guys were just like getting together with their cars and hanging out, talking cars. And I said, man, that's kind of cool. Like, there's like this car club out there, and I could see the momentum kind of going. Like at first, I think there was 8 or 9 cars, and it was just 300 at the time. And then the Charger came out, and then they brought some Charger folks in, and it was like, that's really a neat idea. Like, get car people together, talk about cars, and just hang out. And I kind of saw their momentum going, and that I said, well, there's got to be some folks with these kind of cars in my area. And funny that we're actually here at Quaker Steak and Lube, but this was the first place that I put on one of my first shows. And it was actually just for the Charger, Challenger 300, Magnum. And we were like, let's get some folks together with these kind of cars. We had a club at the time, which, funny as it would be, it was actually called Central Ohio LX Club. Very loosely club. I would say there was probably 5 or 6 of us right here in Columbus that would periodically get together and go to stuff, but we were all very new. Cars were new. Doing mods on them was really new. But I got my car right in the beginning of 2006, and we actually said, well, let's try to get some people together. And at that time, back in, I want to say it was May of 2007, we put together the Central Ohio Spring LX meet and greet. And it was basically just all of us that were here in Columbus. There's a few folks that were from outside of Columbus. And then the really crazy thing is we had some sponsors say, hey, we heard you're doing this event. Can we, give you some stuff to give away? We even had folks drive from Michigan just to hang out and see what the excitement was or what we were doing. So that was kind of an eye-opening experience. I would say it's 2007 was unofficially the first LX and Beyond Nationals, but we didn't know that's what it was back then. It was just, hey, let's get together and hang out and see what happens. But so during that period, pretty much from 2006 to 2007, we had kind of our loosely organized group of 5 or 6 people that were actually Central Ohio LX. That club then kind of, I wouldn't say fractured, it kind of split off into some other groups. I think we had the Buckeye LX Club. We actually had the Northeast, well, actually, I guess it was Central Ohio LX Club and Buckeye LX Club, which Buckeye...
I slightly remember Buckeye LX, yes.
Buckeye LX was it was the Columbus folks, and it was the folks in Northeast Ohio.
Okay.
So
for the Northeast Ohio Mopars.
Northeast Ohio Mopar.
Okay.
So that was kind of like, we were Central Ohio LX, but they were part of Buckeye LX. So we had the two groups kind of going. And I would say the history of that is Buckeye LX ended up becoming Northeast Ohio Mopar Club, or we call them NEO, but...
Yes, NEO or NEO, yes.
Yep. So Buckeye LX actually became NEO. And then our Central Ohio LX group actually ended up kind of fizzling away just because we only had a few people, and it was still trying to gather folks that were not just own the cars but were into the cars was kind of tough. So it actually, that club went away, I would say probably in 08, like early 08. And then unbeknownst to me, Mark and Tammy Sopset, they actually started a Central Ohio LX club. Actually in, I want to say there was back in 2009. So it was really weird because I started the Central Ohio LX club. It kind of fizzled away, and then not even 2 years later, Mark and Tammy started a Central Ohio LX club. And I think they definitely had a lot. They were a little bit better organized than we were. They were getting some events, very quickly, like gathering events and gathering people. And I remember my very first time, their very first event, I went to, it was at, I can't remember that place, the place that has the butter burgers.
In-N-Out? No, that's not it.
No.
It's not.
But it was in their parking lot, and we had all these folks roll in, and I was like, okay, this is interesting. It's like it's a whole different group of people, and they were just as excited, and so I was actually just a member of the new club for quite a few years. We were just going to their events and hanging out, and it was the same idea. It was they get together, go to car shows, they do car cruises all over the state, and just having fun with the cars and getting to know some folks and putting together some cool memories. I actually started going to a lot of the events and just hanging out and just really just supporting those guys, because it was a lot of fun. It was definitely fun to hang out and see all of that, but I feel like I'm missing something, but I would say that was kind of to answer the question, what was going on. Said I was at a crossroads of am I going to go the import route or am I going to go domestic route? So who knows, a different decision. It could have been the import and beyond nationals event. But said that that the colors of the cars and just the history of the Hemi and stuff was really something that pulled me in. It was like, I want a piece. I want my own piece of history, and that was the thing that really was the kind of the hook to pull me in.
Now, was the car you bought, is that Purple Haze?
No, I tried very, very hard to get a Go Mango Charger Daytona, and I missed the window. Like they'd already all been built and they were already all on lots, and I just cannot find the one packaged the way that I want it. So as I was looking, I saw an announcement on LX forums that they were going to do a Touareg Daytona, and it was a late edition too, because I think with the Daytona model cars, there was already a Top Banana and Go Mango, and the Touareg was a late 2006 edition, so it actually came out in '06. And I said, well, that's it. It's like red car, Hemi, that's done.
Okay, so that was the first one before Purple Haze.
Yeah.
Okay, because I always saw you in Purple Haze first. And you always kept the red one for the more events, not so much a daily driver type deal.
Yeah, it's the car. I absolutely love the Touareg Daytona. I mean, that car that was the very first one that I bought, and it's got a ton of miles on it. I think we're over 150,000 miles on it. So I once I got the second car, I said, okay, I'm gonna give this one a break. Mm-hmm. And it was nice to have another car that's already detailed and cleaned and it's customized, so when I want to go to an event or something, I can pull it out and very minimum work that I've got to do to it to get
That's
ready.
Right. What people don't realize is they think we're so obsessed with cleaning our cars, we're afraid to get it dirty and all this stuff, which is true, but getting them dirty means it takes time to getting them clean.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
we need to cut that down so we can enjoy driving them.
Definitely.
So we go along here. What started AMO then, which stands for All Modern Mopars of Ohio?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. Central Ohio LX Club was when it originally started was based on the Chrysler LX platform cars, so the Dodge Charger, Challenger, Magnum, Chrysler 300. We realized as time went on, we felt like maybe the club focus was maybe a little bit dated. Also, maybe we were possibly excluding some other modern Mopar enthusiasts that we could bring in that just maybe didn't have the same following as those cars, didn't have their own like individual clubs, and the fact that we had a lot of members that we found out that their LX platform car wasn't the only car they had. So a lot of folks had they had Jeeps, they had Grand Cherokees, they had Ram trucks, and they had a lot even some Neon. So folks had a lot of other vehicles that we thought, okay, we know these are the hot cars, these are the ones that everybody's interested in, but maybe we're excluding some folks that could expand this group and make it a little more fun. We thought that definitely it seemed like we were maybe excluding some folks that could be a part of this, and we actually a group of us met with Mark and Tammy just to discuss some ideas and some concerns of like maybe we could expand this to more people. We've got a lot of people that I think even before we had a discussion, we had folks with cars outside of those four that were actively being a part of the group and helping out with things. So we're like, well, let's make it official and make them official members of the group and not just have them around. So we actually had a few discussions, bounced a few ideas, club name ideas, and we actually at the time we had timed it the same time as the Dodge Demon reveal party, because back then, back in I want to say 2017, Dodge was offering opportunity for various clubs across the country to host their own Dodge Demon reveal party. So we ended up being one of the clubs chosen. So we got like a bunch of Dodge Demon banners and cups and all kinds of cool stuff to do our reveal party, and we shared that online with the rest of the Mopar community.
I remember that.
Yeah, so we actually timed it at that same time, we made the announcement that we were going to change the club name from Central Ohio LX Club to All Modern Mopar of Ohio, which we felt definitely, more identified with who we were as a group and where we wanted to go moving forward. So Modern Mopar, everyone always asks me, well, what do you consider Modern Mopar, or how do I qualify as Modern Mopar? Very loosely, we've said, anything 2000 and newer, we considered modern. There's a lot of debate on what's modern and what's not, but there's a lot of folks say a lot of the 90s Mopars are still modern too, but we said 2000 and newer, but at the same time, if you had one of those, we're not going to turn you away.
You didn't turn me away.
Yes.
When I joined on Facebook.
Yeah, so it's but I definitely felt like, Modern Mopar, All Modern Mopar of Ohio definitely, better represented who we were, better represented the community we were involved in. Also, we branched out from just being Central Ohio LX to basically the entire state of Ohio. Ambitious goal.
Yep.
Definitely to try to include everybody else that maybe didn't have a club or a group or something near them, that, hey, we're in the center of the state, so anyone that's not in Columbus, it's almost equal distance for you to come to Columbus to hang out and do some stuff. But we also travel all over the state as well. So we try to get down to Cincinnati. We come up to the Cleveland, Northeast Ohio area. We go out to Dayton. We've even been up in Toledo. So we try to, as members bring up events and ideas, we try to travel all over the state to do stuff. Because like I said, we know there's folks all over the place, and it's funny because even though we're all in the same state, a lot of times we're doing different things to our cars.
Yes.
It's a different group of people. So that's one thing I've learned about being, in the car community, is that the number of people that, the number and types of people that you get to interact with and talk with is so far, it's such a big group that you just never know.
That's true. That's true.
And I think now, combined history, I say the original Central Ohio LX Club, I think we're, as of next April, that'll be their 15th year. And for Ammo as the name stands, is next year will be our 7th year.
Cool.
So, I would say, I don't know if it's official or not, but I know that we're by far the oldest Mopar club in the state. At 15 years, it's or one of the oldest in the state at 15 years.
You mean for modern?
For modern.
Okay.
Yeah, so at 15 years, there's not another club and even our sister club, Neo, is just a couple years behind us, but yeah, it's we don't really have time to sit back and think about it, but it's weird to think that we've been around for 15 years, but the cars have been around, the LX platform cars have been around that long.
Yeah, since 18 years now.
Yeah.
The one thing I put in my intro is that the classic folks, they always like to say, well, I got an A body, B body, C body, E body. But for some odd reason, everything else is a strict platform.
Yeah.
Like I brought up when I went back to join Mid-Ohio Mopars, somebody says the LX cars. I go, no. You have an LA, LC, LD, and in Europe you have the LE as well as the LX. So why aren't you separating this stuff out here like you do with your stuff, as if you think you know stuff?
Right.
So the one thing I want to go next here is online social media clubs. Like Mid-Ohio Mopars started as an organized club, dues, everything, licensed, taxes and stuff. And I know that's not done so much anymore. It's pretty much an online community. Is that what people are, when people join Ammo, like when I went on Facebook, am I considered a member?
You are, yes.
Okay, so anybody who you approve on the Facebook page, they are a member.
They are, yes.
Okay, all right, and there's no dues. You basically put out what you say, you know, when you're going to meet, what we're going to have. Like he has the great advertising line, Ammo Invades.
Yes.
It's a great line. It really is. Ammo Invades Qdobas. Ammo Invades this show. Ammo Invades that show. It's a great promotion. So
definitely. That was one thing when we and I guess carrying over from Mark and Tammy's focus as Central Ohio LX, when we created we changed the name and created the Ammo group. Our big thing was like we were not going to do dues. We do have sponsors, so our sponsors actually help cover a lot of the cost of running the club, whether it's covering the website, doing banners. We have sponsors that actually cover a lot of that stuff, so we don't have to require dues of anybody. But we also, as you mentioned, you know, with the Facebook page and a lot of the social media pages, you know, if we bring you onto there, you're part of the club. But we also want to emphasize that it's not just an online club. Like, we want people to get together. We want people to come out to events. I mean, that's part of being part of a club. If you're not active and involved in it, you know, it's not really doing you any good. And there's plenty of groups to watch and read stuff online, but getting involved and, you know, there's personal friendships and those interactions and those things are valuable. I mean, we have folks now that, you know, have been part of the club that we've watched their kids grow up. Their kids have now purchased their own Mopars and become part of the club. So, I mean, we're seeing, you know, generational, you know, growth of the club as you know, people that didn't have kids, and now they're part of the club, and they're bringing their kids to the event. So it's
I saw that at the spring kickoff this year.
Yes,
big time. The nice lady across from me had a black 300, and her son looked at me because I brought my minivan.
Yeah.
I go, you'll find out. You know, you got to appreciate it all.
Yes.
And his mother did. She understood. So
definitely.
So now. So you do these events. Now I lost track where I wanted to go here.
And also too, I wanted to mention too before I forget. With our club, we don't do like a president, vice president, treasurer, and that sort of thing. We actually have a nine-member board. So we have a 9-member board. They help organize the events. They help kind of direct traffic and on the websites and on the social media. So we do it that way. That way, one, we keep the kind of the continuity of the group. And we understand that, you know, people have life events that happen, whether it's, you know, health or family or whatever. So with having a 9-member board, people can kind of step away and take care of what they need to and then come back. And, you know, I get a lot of credit for a lot of what Ammo does, but without the board, a lot of this stuff wouldn't happen. I mean, the Mario Knapp show is a great example. Kyle's been running that for years. He's a member of our club, has been for quite some time. And then a lot of the other events that we do, it's, you know, I think Raina's a big proponent of meet and eats. I think we just did one yesterday.
Yep.
I get a lot of credit for a lot of what Ammo does, but, you know, without our 9-member board, a lot of that stuff wouldn't happen. So, I mean, Todd, Raina, Brad, Wayne, Gary, Danielle, Steven, and Glenn have been huge for the group, and I think a lot of folks don't realize they put in a lot of work for free, without payment, to make things happen. I mean, it's a lot of stuff that we've seen happen has been, you know, either they've come out of their own pockets to help out, or they've had sponsors help out. But, you know, a lot of folks put in a lot of hours after their day jobs to help out.
Cool. All right, now I'd like to ask you, there's always change that happens no matter what. And now, and you'll hear this in my monologue in episode 2 about the change. People have been warned about the changes coming. No more Gen 3 Hemis coming out.
Right.
Just a few rags here and there for 2024, but then that's it. What is the attitude of the club? Are they preparing for this? Any talk about it or anything? I know they're all disappointed, as we all are.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I would say there's definitely some disappointment that just the availability of the vehicles and availability of the engine is definitely something that's been discussed quite a bit. The club itself, I mean, we're definitely preparing for that. I think for us, the events don't stop. The gatherings and all of that don't stop. There's a lot. We have quite a few members that own quite a few Mopar vehicles, so there's no concern of, they don't have the vehicles to participate or get together. I think obviously with the discontinuation of those engines and stuff, the suddenly I have a collectible car has accelerated.
Yes.
It accelerated drastically. I mean, I have 2 of my own, and over 15 years old now, which is crazy to think about. But there's been a lot of discussion. I think as a club we're prepared for moving forward. I mean, I don't think it really changes what we do or how we do it. And I think there's so many used vehicles in the market now that there's still opportunity for new enthusiasts and new owners to get those vehicles and be a part of this. But I think there's definitely a concern of what the future looks like as far as numbers. Because I think there's a lot of concern as, what will a lot of these events that we've gone to, some of the national events and events across the country, what will those events look like? I know for myself, just going to a trade show just a few weeks ago, it was very noticeable that I didn't see, as many modern Mopar display vehicles on the field. So that was kind of almost a gut check to like, okay, I don't see it like I did, the previous years. So, but I think there's some excitement too. I think folks are like, hey, what's next? What's the next? Because the attitude of, and I say not just Dodge owners, but Dodge tends to be at the forefront of the horsepower.
Yes.
Some folks are going, what's the next car that's going to take over the streets and take over, social media and all of that, because that's always been the attitude of Dodge, is like, we're never going to be second place. If we're going to do something, we're going to be the best at it, the first place of doing it.
Now, I related back to this. When muscle cars were new, they started rusting in 3 years. Modern cars don't do that. And am I not mistaken, a lot of these people drove their cars year-round?
They do.
In Ohio's salt and snow and everything else?
Yeah, believe it or not, there's a lot of folks, myself included, they drive them year-round. I mean, you pull off the wheels and tires and maybe put on some winter tires and some wheels that you can afford to get a little dirty or a little salty.
Yep.
But there's a lot of folks that drive them year round. Either because you just can't bear the sight of putting it away for 4 months, or maybe it is your daily driver car too. So
yeah, because I'm wondering if some of them were changing how they're doing things. For instance, when we had the huge gas crunch about 15 years ago,
I remember that.
Pickup truck sales went way down. And the media, which I don't follow that much of the media because they're all alarmists anyways, and they were saying, oh, this is the death knell of the pickup truck. And I'm like thinking, no, just won't drive them as much.
Right.
They'll find something else to drive, but they're not going to get rid of that truck. So, has that been going on with Modern so far? Have you noticed?
I haven't noticed that as much. I think it probably hasn't really hit home with everyone yet. So there's, folks I think are in the mindset right now of like, I'm going to drive it and enjoy it versus, stop driving it and save it away for, some big payoff at some auction or something. I think everyone's in the mindset of they're going to drive them and enjoy them because they know that there's a lot of folks that would love to have one that don't. So I haven't seen, and even with gas prices, I mean, there's a lot of folks, just drove a little less, but they still drove them.
Yep.
It's a weird. As I always tell everybody, it's like I have two, I guess you'd call a gas guzzler, but, I wouldn't drive anything else. I mean, it's just the fun and excitement of driving it and getting behind that wheel it outweighs whatever the gas price is.
Yes. I ran through that back in 1980 when I had the Cordoba before it was restored.
Yeah.
And I had the Demon 340. I just bought it. And then the gas prices like tripled. But I still held on to them.
Yeah.
And maybe didn't drive them as much, but I still held on to them. So.
Definitely.
Well, I think this is a good time to end it here, Anthony.
Okay.
Did you want to say anything else before we go, or?
Again, for me, I would just like to say thank you for having me on and for giving me a chance to tell a little bit about our club and what we do and how we contribute to the Mopar community. And again, I would like to say thank my board members, because like I said, I wouldn't be here talking to you without them. Like I said, they do amazing work and a ton of work, and they make me look good.
There you go.
But again, just say thank you.
You betcha. Well, Anthony Carter, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming today on the WaltPar Podcast.
Thank you.
And best of luck this year. I will see you in April.
All right. Definitely.
I'm not sure if I don't bring the Cordoba down because unless there's a lot of April showers.
Right.
Because I'm not going to bring it down in the salt. And I know I got my red van, which is a Town & Country S, which mirrors the 300S.
Yep.
So it's like I could bring that down and be like modern, not muscle, but it's still modern. But if I bring the gold Town & Country, I hope it gives people hope.
Definitely. I think folks love seeing those cars. I think they forget the history. You go, hey, that looks kind of like my 300, or that looks like my, and it's like, well, that's where it came from.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, but Anthony, again, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming.
Cool. Thank you.
You bet.
Yeah,
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Although this will go out in January, we're doing this in December. So, right. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to you, sir.
Same to you.
All right. Take care, Anthony.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Again, thank you so much to Anthony Carter of Ammo in Central Ohio LX for the great interview he gave me, and thank him for his time because he's a very busy person. I appreciate it very, very much. Now, there was a little bit of technical glitch. It was my second interview I've ever done in my life like that with my Zoom H6 recorder. My headphones quit working. I don't know why, but they did. The headphones let me know if the microphone is close enough that he could hear, that I could hear him so that you could hear him, and vice versa when I talk. And they just quit. And that's why there was a little bit of some pauses in there. But we got it working out, and we got it fine. So we got it going, and I thank him so much for the time that he gave us today. Can't wait to see him Saturday the 13th. Now, that's one event we're coming up to. I will repeat that again when it comes. But right now, in state alphabetical order, let's get you caught up on the event listings of Mopar-only events in the state of Alabama, April 26th and 27th. Mopars at the Battleship, benefiting Children's Hospital in New Orleans, Louisiana, and Mulherron Home in Mobile, Alabama. It will be held at the USS Alabama Battleship Memorial Park in Mobile, Alabama. The hosting club, Big Easy Mopar Association, bigeasymopar.org. June 7th and 8th, the Coleman Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram presents Mopars by the Lake, located at Sportsman Lake Park in Cullman, Alabama. That's Cullman. Hosting club is Pentastar South. For further information, call Robert 256-734-1064 or Brenda 256-590-2949. Alberta, Canada. It's July 27th. It will be Western Canada's largest Mopar show. Western Mopar Madness will be held at the Rad Torque Raceway in Leduc County, Alberta, Canada. The event will go on from 8 a.m. until 7 p.m. The hosting club is the Edmonton Mopar Association, and the website to go to for more information is emawmm.com. In the great state of Arkansas, June 22nd, the third annual Turpentine Creek Mopar Classic at Turpentine Creek Wildlife Refuge in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. Be held from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. tcmoparclassic.com for more information. The great state of California, April 20th and 21st. It's a Spring Fling number 36. All Mopar Show and Parts Exchange will be held at Woodley Park, Van Nuys, California. Hosting clubs, there's two of them, the Southern California Mopar Car Club and Chrysler Performance West Club. Further information, cpwclub.com. In the great state of Connecticut, May 18th and 19th, the 44th Annual Mopar Expo Show and Swap Meet at Papa's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in New Britain, Connecticut. It'll go on from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. The hosting club, Mopars in Motion. Further information, Ralph at 860-416-1228. September 22nd, the 16th Annual Innovators Show and Shine All Mopar Show at Ardioli Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Enfield, that's Enfield, Connecticut. That will also go from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. The hosting club is Mopars in Motion. Again, contact Ralph at 860-416-1228. In the great state of Florida, we have, let me get my screen up here, April 13th, that's this coming Saturday, the 14th Annual Mopars by the Lake All Mopar Car Show and Swap Meet be held at Wallace Brooks Park in Inverness, Florida. Hosting club will be the Citrus County Mopar Club. You can go to their Facebook page for more information. Plus, I have a flyer as a picture on my Facebook page and Instagram account. Search WaltPar Podcast. May 10th and 11th, the 37th Annual Sunshine State Mopar Car Show and Swap Meet at the Florida Horse Park in Ocala, Florida. Hosting association will be the Florida Mopar Association. That's the group where majority of Chrysler clubs meet for future meetings and all that. And they're the ones that all those clubs put together make up the Florida Mopar Association. They'll be hosting this show. FloridaMoparAssociation.com for more information. October 1st through the 5th, 2024. Mopars at the Beach will be at Daytona Beach, not Myrtle Beach like it has in years past. The reason? The person who puts this on, Kathy Pearson Bridges, has moved to Florida. Now, the event is still in the planning stages, but she still wants to do it. Even though she moved to Florida, she still wants to do it in Florida, in the Daytona Beach area. We'll keep you posted with more information as it becomes available. November 2nd and 3rd, Mopars with Big Daddy Don Garlitz at the Garlitz Drag Racing Museum in Ocala, Florida. You can go to garlitz.com or 352-245-8661 for more information. In the great state of Illinois, all these shows are being hosted by the Chicagoland Mopar Connection. And you can go to their Facebook page at Chicagoland Mopar Club under events for more contact information. So let's go down the shows and I'll repeat the contact information. June 2nd, Mo Power Madness 2024 at Kazi Corner Hot Dogs Beef and Catering, 1250 75th Street, Downers Grove, Illinois. On June 23rd, Mopars at the Park from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. at Fox Lake Veterans Memorial Park in Fox Lake, Illinois. Show vehicle entry fee is $20. Spectator admission is free. And July 20th, it's the Midwest Charger Meet 2024, as well as the Mopar Modern Muscle Meet 2024. July 21st, it's the Belvedere Mopar Happening 2024. Each day it goes on from 8 a.m. until 3 p.m. All events are at the Boone County Fairgrounds in Belvedere, Illinois. Hosting club for all of these events I just mentioned from Illinois is the Chicagoland Mopar Connection. Again, go to their Facebook page, type in Chicagoland Mopar Club, look under events for more contact information on each of these events. The great state of Indiana, June 14th through the 16th, the National Hemi Owners Association Meet and Reunion will be held in Brownsburg, Indiana, near Indianapolis. I have no other information available at this time. I'll have to look into that. In the great state of Iowa, August 25th, Mopars on the Mississippi at the Dubuque County Fairgrounds, Dubuque, Iowa, from 8 a.m. until 3 p.m. The hosting club, just like in Illinois, the Chicagoland Mopar Connection, go to their Facebook page, type in Chicagoland Mopar Club under events, go to their page under events for more contact information. In the great state of Kentucky, September 13th through the 15th, Holly Mo Party at Beach Bend Raceway Park, Bowling Green, Kentucky. Moparty.com for more information. I have to look into this further. Kentucky Dragway on Facebook said they will be having an all Mopar event in 2024, but the date has not been set yet. The great state of Louisiana, July 24th through the 28th, it's the 38th Annual National DeSoto Club Convention. Will be held in New Orleans, desoto.org for more information. The great state of Michigan, May 5th, 2024, the 26th Annual North Oakland Mopar Muscle Club All Mopar Show and Swap Meet will be held from 8 a.m. until 3 p.m. at the Packard Proving Grounds, 49965 Van Dyke Avenue, Shelby Township, Michigan. Hosting club, North Oakland Mopar Muscle Club. Facebook, same name, search North Oakland Mopar Muscle, or their website, www.northoaklandmoparmuscle.com. September 21st, the 13th Annual Michigan Mopar Muscle Club All Mopar Show and Swap Meet will be held from 8 a.m. until 3 p.m. at the Hub Stadium, Auburn Hills, Michigan. Hosting club will be the Michigan Mopar Muscle Club. And if you have any further information, you can go to their website, michiganmoparmuscle.com, or you can email at showinfo@michiganmoparmuscle.com. Great state of Minnesota, the huge event. I'm going to be calling somebody about that too, because there's something else I want to talk to him about for a future interview. May 31st through June 2nd, it's the Midwest Mopars in the Park Car Show and Swap Meet at the Washington County Fairgrounds in Stillwater, Minnesota. The hosting club will be Midwest Mopars. Go to midwestmopars.middletwin.com. Wade, you will be getting a phone call. August 4th through the 9th, the Plymouth Owners Club National Meet and Greet will be held in Brainerd, Minnesota. Hosting chapter of the Plymouth Owners Club will be Tall Pines Region. And get this, it's PlymouthOwners.club is the website you need to go to for more information. PlymouthOwners.club. The great state of Mississippi's, it's on October 10th. Mopar is in Da Bay, St. Louis, Mississippi. For more information, dial 504-512-0367. The hosting club is the Big Easy Mopar Association, or bigeasymopar.org. The great state of Missouri. This event is actually held in Illinois, but it's part of the St. Louis metropolitan area. It's the St. Louis Mopar Blast. Will be held at Worldwide Technology Raceway in Madison, Illinois. It's hosted by Mopar Blast Incorporated, a registered 501c3 nonprofit. The great state of Nebraska, July 21st, the second annual H&H Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram All Mopar Show at H&H Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Papillon, Nebraska. Go to their Facebook and Instagram pages for more information. In the great state of New Jersey, June 8th, the Califon Mopar Show to benefit the Califon Veterans Memorial at the Califon Island Park in Califon, New Jersey. CalifonCarshow.org, that's CALIFON, carshow.org. In the great state of New Mexico, on June 15th, the 27th annual Mopar Muscle Club of New Mexico Mopar Fest will be held at Haynes Park in Rio Rancho, New Mexico from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. You can email for more information at nmmoparfest@yahoo.com or moparclub.com. In the great state of New York, June 9th, the 14th annual Western New York Mopars Mopar Day, all Mopar gathering and drag racing, be held at Lancaster Motorplex, Lancaster, New York. The hosting club is the Western New York Mopars. Make sure to check this club out when you go to Chrysler's at Carlisle. October 13th, Mopars at the Valley Car Show and Swap Meet, Lebanon Valley Dragway in East Chatham, New York. Hosting clubs, the Capital Area Mopars. Dragway.com for more information. The great state of North Carolina, May 11th, the 38th annual Piedmont Mopar Fun Run at Farmington Dragway in Mocksville, North Carolina. The hosting club is the Piedmont Mopar Club, piedmontmopar.com. November 16th, Fall Mopars at the Rock will be at Rockingham Dragway in Rockingham, North Carolina. RockinghamDragway.com for more information. My home state, the great state of Ohio, has a lot of Mopar events coming up. Like I mentioned earlier, April 13th, it's the Mopar Spring Dust-Off at Quaker Steak and Lube in Polaris Plaza in Columbus, Ohio. Hosting clubs are All Modern Mopars of Ohio and Northeast Ohio Mopar Club. Ammo Mopar Club, search that name in one word on Facebook for more information. May 3rd and 4th, the annual Mid-Ohio Mopars, All Mopar Swap Meet and Car Corral, the club I belong to, and I will be there for that event. Wayne County Fairgrounds in Worcester, Ohio, the hosting club is Mid-Ohio Mopars. Go to midohiomopars.us for more information. June 8th, the 25th annual St. Mary's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Mopar or No Car Cruise-In, held at St. Mary's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in St. Mary's, Ohio. Registration begins at 9 a.m. The cruise-in starts at 2 p.m. Contact Brian Engel at 419-305-6552. June 9th, the 17th annual Mopars at Junction Auto Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Chardon, Ohio. More information to follow on that. When I get the flyer, make sure I put it up on all the social media, and then you'll know about it. It's a great show. I went to it last year for the first time after all these years, and I've known about this show. It's a great show if you can make it in Northeast Ohio over there to Chardon. Junction Auto, a long, long time Mopar dealer. Race cars, everything. They've done it all. They're a great dealership. June 22nd, All Mopar Show at Plaza Inn Restaurant at 491 South Main Street in Mount Victory, Ohio. August 2nd through the 4th, Mopars at 42 at Dragway 42 in West Salem, Ohio. Dragway42.com. Also, it's on the 3rd, which is a Saturday, rain date the 4th, will be the 33rd annual Mid-Ohio Mopars Car Show, and it will be a part of Mopars at 42 this year, so the event will be held at Dragway 42. Please keep that in mind. Our Mid-Ohio Mopars Show, a lot of people like to go to it. It will be part of Mopars at 42 this year, so looking forward to seeing everybody there too, and I will be there for that. August 9th through the 11th, the 43rd Annual Nationals at National Trail Raceway in Kirkersville, Ohio, east of Columbus, Ohio, right on US 40. Moparnats.org, but that website is still not up and running, and I've left 3 messages for them to call me, text me, or do something to let me know when the website will be up so I can let you know. September 15th, the annual Classic Car Club of Toledo Car Show will be held at York Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram at the Central Avenue Strip in Toledo, Ohio. More information to follow. September 19th through the 22nd. It's the 2nd annual Mopar World of Mopar at Summit Motorsports Park in Norwalk, Ohio. And also, I forgot to mention this, May 12th. That will be I think it's May 12th, whatever, it might be the 11th. That Saturday, it's going to be just a one-day show. It used to be a 2-day show, but now it's a one-day show. Thomas Fest at Thomas Garage in St. Clairsville, Ohio, in Southeast Ohio. And it will happen. And like I said, it was May 11th, and I think that's when that Saturday is. And That's when the show will be. I will make double sure I have that information corrected in the next episode of the WaltPar Podcast. In the great state of Oklahoma, May 10th through the 12th, the 4th annual Southern Plains Mopar Fest, hosted by the city of Bristow, Oklahoma, and the Bristow, Oklahoma Historical Society, of course, in Bristow, Oklahoma. SouthernPlainsMoparFest.com for more information. In Ontario, Canada, August 6th through the 11th, the Walter P. Chrysler Club National Meet will be held in Windsor, Ontario. ChryslerClub.org for more information. August 13th through the 16th, the 59th Annual Airflow Club National Meet will be held at 4 Points Sheraton by Marriott in London, Ontario, Canada. Airflowclub.com for more information. August 17th and 18th, Mopar Fest, Canada's largest all-Mopar car show, will be held from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. each day at 251 Jacob Street in New Hamburg, Ontario, Canada. MoparFest.com for more information. And on August 24th, the second annual Motor City Mopar Show at Motor City Chrysler in Windsor, Ontario, Canada. Hosting club will be the Windsor Area Mopar Muscle Club. More details at the WAAMM Facebook page under events. The great state of Oregon, August 4th, 2024. It's the 39th Annual Woodburn Dragstrip Mopar Nationals at Woodburn Dragstrip in Woodburn, Oregon. WoodburnDragstrip.com or call 541-746-4620. August 8th through the 10th, the Walter P. Chrysler Pacific Northwest Regional Meet will also be held in Woodburn, Oregon. Email information, go to d.duthie@comcast.net. That's d.duthie@comcast.net. The great state of Pennsylvania, June 2nd. It's the 37th Annual Lake Erie Tri-State Mopar Club All Mopar Car Show and Swap Meet from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. at the Albion County Fairgrounds in Albion, Pennsylvania. Hosting club is the Lake Erie Tri-State Mopar Club. Look on the page, Let's Mopar Club on Facebook, or you can email for more information at letsmoparclub@yahoo.com. June 23rd, the All Mopar Show, hosted by the Lansdale Auto Group and Miss Mopar, from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. at the Lansdale Auto Group in Montgomeryville, Pennsylvania. The registration opens up at 9 a.m. allmoparshow.com for more information. And one of the big ones, if not the biggest one, July 12th through the 24th. It's the Chrysler Carlisle Nationals at Carlisle Fairgrounds in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Carlisleevents.com for more information. In the great state of South Carolina, October 16th through the 19th, Mopar Fever. This is what replaces Mopars at the Beach from Myrtle Beach. Michael Stark, and I forget who else is helping him put this on, is they have a whole line of events lined up. I'll get more information on that. There are several shows. I'll have to get that fixed for the next podcast. More information, you can go to their Facebook page or 8FO3, that's 8, letter F, letter O, 3, mopars.org, or use that name and search on their Facebook page. In South Dakota, August 24th, the Mopar Rama 2024 is back, and it will be at Billion, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Hosting club is the Sioux Empire Mopars. In the great state of Tennessee, September 28th, it's the 35th Annual Music City Mopar Club Show at the Wilson County Fairgrounds, Lebanon, Tennessee. Hosting club is Music City Mopar Club, 615-972-1056, or you can go to musiccitymoparclub.com. In the great state of Virginia, August 31st, Mopars in the Valley, powered by Berglund Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. It'll go on from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. at the Salem Civic Center. $20 for pre-registration, $30 the day of the show. Rain date will be September 1st. Hosted by David Simmons and the Roanoke Valley Mopar Club. Search Roanoke, that's Roanoke, Valley Mopar Club on Facebook. In the state of Washington, July 28th, the 19th Annual Mopar Magic All Mopar Car Show and Shine at Peninsula High School in Gig Harbor, Washington. allaroundmopars.com for more information. And finally, on the show circuit in Wisconsin, April 21st, it's the Mopar Swap Meet at Fox View Lanes in Waukesha, Wisconsin. $2 general admission, $20 per swap space, $5 for a car corral space. Hosting club is the Wisconsin Mopar Muscle Club. Email for more information is at wmmcmopar@gmail.com or search Wisconsin Mopars or WMMC.net. Now, the final events for the Hemi Shootout. Then they are the first stop was already done at Orlando. The second one's coming up. No, that's already done. We got to go to the third one. June 22nd, 2024. The third stop is at Cecil County Dragway in Rising Sun, Maryland. Fourth stop will be part of the Woodward Dream Cruise Weekend in Detroit, Michigan. That's August 16th and 17th. And the fifth and final stop is October 18th and 19th at Maryland International Raceway in Mechanicsville, Maryland. More information on these and more about the Modern Hemi Shootout Series, go to hemirace.com. Now remember, if you have an all Mopar event up, be it either organized show or swap meet or both, please let me know about it because I'll put it on free of charge. You can email me a copy of your flyer or whatever information you have at WaltParPodcast@AOL.com, or you can message me on Facebook, Instagram, X, or Threads. Search WaltPar Podcast. Well, this does it for the show this time. I appreciate you so much for joining me. Thanks to Byron Hurd of Autoblog, Robert S. Miller, Mopar Insiders, Patrick Rawl, and David Zatz of Stellpower for their contributions with episode number 8 of the WaltPar Podcast. And I also need to put in there Reuters. Thanks to all the 66 followers and the 45 people who like my Facebook page, 76 people following on me on X, the 154 followers on Instagram, and the 25 people on Threads. Thank you so much. And you can join me as well. Search WaltPar Podcast. And remember, on the YouTube and Rumble, just search WaltPar. I have sent Facebook messages and emails to over 100 Mopar and AMC clubs combined, but I can still use your help too. Please tell your fellow Mopar fans, lovers, enthusiasts about the WaltPar Podcast. I would appreciate it very much. And please, if you can, give me a top rating wherever you listen to this podcast. And please subscribe on whatever platform you use so you can get a message when the next one will be coming out. Now, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or suggestions, you can email me at waltparpodcast@AOL.com. You can snail mail me at P.O. Box 455, Apple Creek, Ohio, 44606. Apple Creek is 2 words. And don't forget to check out the other Mopar-related podcasts that are out there. The Dodge Pod with Robert, TNT T-N-T podcast with Tara Graves and Tina Bogus, and the best Mopar podcast on planet Earth, as he says, Talking Mopars with the Mopar hunter himself, Chris Albrecht. Now, please, before I go, whenever you go to a car show or a cruise-in, find a Mopar that is totally different than yours and say hello to them. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you can join me the next time here on the next episode of the WaltPar Podcast. And as Mike Bonadonna of the Citrus County Mopar Club always says, keep those highways beautiful, drive your Mopars. Uniting all generations and types of Mopar fans, lovers, and enthusiasts everywhere, from Walter P. Chrysler to today's Mopar and beyond. This has been the WaltPar Podcast. Take care, everyone. The WaltPar Podcast is a production of Auto Catawba LLC. Thanks, everyone. Take care.